Melanin has for the physiological and psychological assessment of children of color. She is the author of numerous articles and scientific reports and currently serves as a clinical psychologist for Alameda County Mental Health. Let's welcome Dr. Marcella Stewart. In the process of studying melanin, I have looked at melanin from a concrete perspective, and spent a lot of time talking about, look how melanin improves the quality of life, and look how melanin initiates life, and melanin allows us to do this and allows us to do that. And a black dot message came down to me that moved me out of that phase. Another conversation I had with Dr. Hilliard, I called him talking about the soul and the melanic source of the soul, and now I know why white folks ain't got no soul. I said, we knew that all the time. That was what we were saying a long time. White folks just ain't got no soul. I said, now I know why they ain't got no soul. And after I explained it to him and went through the soul and what melanin does to facilitate the soul, he said, have you read Lesterville Middleton's book, We Be a Creosote People? I said, he's always sending me back. It's like, grasshopper, go forth, and do something else. I said, no. He said, you got to read We Be a Creosote People. And I said, I didn't even know creosote was. So I said, okay. I went and got the book. And I read the poem. And I didn't know what creosote was, so I had to go whip out Webster and see what creosote was, so I could understand. Just write it on the board. By Lesterville Middleton. The poem says, child, I know you're wondering how your people, black people, Africans, been able to laugh and cry at the same time. Where we get the guts to face another sunrise in Satan's own paradise. I know you're wondering why we ain't all proud skeletons dancing at the bottom of the Atlantic, free from the rank smell of slave ships. I know you're wondering how come we still making babies and praying to an unseen God. See, we be a creosote people. Creosote, according to Webster, is a black tar-like substance that preserves the wood. You see it on telephone poles, so that the telephone pole can stand up against the tortures of the elements. So when you creosote is black preservative. Okay? Let's make it plain. See, we be a creosote people. We've been specially treated baked in God's oven with yeast that helps us rise to the challenges before us. We've been seasoned like them creosote poles, holding up them power lines no matter how hard the wind blows, no matter how much rain settles around our feet, no matter how many years come and go, we still be standing. We be a creosote people, specially treated by God. That was a Black Dot message. Having this information led me to deal with melanin a little bit differently. I said, we be a creosote people, specially treated by God. What is it that we have that keeps us in connection with God? That special treatment is a gift of melanin. And so I began to look at things that had to do with life in general. And I kept putting creation kept coming up to me. And I would start writing it, and I had a hard time writing it because when you write a line, you realize that there's 10 other lines you need to write just to explain that one line that came to you. And I said, I can't do this. I'm not a chematologist. I'm not a physicist. But the ancestors would not stop. They said, you have to do this. And down to the wire of coming here, I didn't know what I was going to present. And as of Thursday of this week, I had said I wasn't presenting this. But I'm here, and I'm presenting it whether I know what it means or not, because I feel that it is what's supposed to be, and that it's time. And with the trust of my elders and my teachers, they will tell me what it means. My presentation was to be on melanin and African infant development. This was to be primarily based on my research project and manuscript prepared in 1980, approximately 7 years ago. Since that time, I have made some major changes in my life and my experiential understanding or knowledge of melanin. My initial concrete search for a better understanding of melanin has turned into a more spiritual quest or mission. The study of melanin will not let you focus purely on its material attributes, but will lead you, if you choose to follow, to the Creator. That is, it will transform you first and then take you home. Like the stars in the sky that must die to live again or be reborn, it must return to the black hole's substance from which it comes. The title of this presentation is Melanin and Creation or Revelation. I'll tell you that. Being one of the few women presenting at this conference, in the midst of all these diops of melanin, you know I was scared. So what can I say that somebody can't say better? I began to wonder what I would bring forth that would be unique to my particular stage of development and my experience as a black woman. As you have already heard, melanin manifests natural and supernatural properties. It was there in the beginning and will be there throughout eternity. Thus, melanin must have a crucial role in the creation and quality of life as we know it. Women have a very special or experiential understanding of the creation of life. We know that personally. So I listened back to draw on the archival data in my soul in an effort to understand what was happening up or in the beginning or at the first time. And I will reveal to you today what has come down to me regarding melanin and creation. Before we begin to focus on the gift of melanin and its role in creation, it is important to note, not for the elders in the room, but for the neophytes like myself, that all things or manifestations flow from God. All knowledge and power, natural and supernatural, are derived from the Creator. Therefore, nothing lives but by the will or grace of God. Just know that. I say this to say that any attributes of melanin or pigmentation, as it may pertain to life and creation, can only be viewed as a manifestation of God. For matter can only live or have life through the embodiment of the Spirit. That was a blacked out message too. See, this came out. I had to scribble it on the paper. Melanin is a vital component of the universal substance infused with the universal spirit or energy, God. As previously noted, it was there to facilitate our first time and will be there to facilitate eternity. It is but a vehicle for the workings of the universal spirit, the absolute one. Melanin is a holy substance, specially designed to facilitate the receiving of the light and thus everlasting life. This happens through the process of transformation of the soul. It is imperative that we allow these truths to light our path as we proceed, so we can see. Key concepts regarding living organisms, or what constitutes life. What constitutes life has been defined as being related to an organism's ability to organize from simple things to more complex, or to move from a state of lower order to a state of higher order. It must be able to reproduce or replicate itself. Of the 92 naturally occurring elements, only 6 make up 99% of all living tissue. Only 6. All living organisms must be able to process light energy. Life on Earth is totally dependent on photosynthesis, both for oxygen and for its carbon-containing molecules. Thus, living organisms must be photosynthetic if they are to survive. In order for light energy to be used by living systems, it must first be absorbed. A pigment is any substance that absorbs light. Some pigments absorb all wavelengths of light, so they appear black, like the black holes in space. Others absorb only certain wavelengths. All forms of life must have melanin, or what has been called a photopigment, to act as an antenna, keeps coming up, in the trapping and utilizing of light energy. In plants, this pigment is called chlorophyll, and in animals, they are called by many names. But a rose called by any name is still a rose. So for the purpose of this discussion, we will call it melanin. Key concept of melanin that is important to the understanding of its role in living systems is that melanin is a chemical that can change or transform light energy from one level to another, or form to another. Webster defines life as that property of plants and animals, which makes it possible for them to take in food, get energy from it, grow, adapt themselves to their surroundings, and reproduce their kind. It is a quality that distinguishes a living animal or plant from inorganic matter or dead organisms. The process of plants and animals making it possible for them to take in food, get energy, grow, reproduce their kind is guided by the ability of the organism to receive and transform light energy. What is that? Thus we can safely say that receiving of light is synonymous with life itself. This clearly has esoteric and exoteric implications for human existence, receiving of the light. I have already stated that I'm not a chemtologist, whatever our new word is, but I did read Stolen Legacy and a few other choice pieces, and my whole understanding of creation, when I read the Memphite theology and their interpretation of creation and the words atoms, I said they knew about atoms, and they knew about the sun, and they knew about the light. And Western scientists are usually behind the times, or wrong, or unable to uncover information. Western scientists describe the universe beginning with a Big Bang theory. One of the problems with that is that they believe that it was really a beginning, and that it wasn't just, an ascension from that which was already, and it was just time for something else to go down or come down. They know that the universe began with a sudden explosion or expansion that filled all space with every particle of matter being hurtled away from every other particle. The temperature was thought to be so hot that even the atoms could not hold together. All matter was in the form of a subatomic or elementary particle. Moving at enormous speed, even these particles had fleeting lives. Colliding with great force, they annihilated one another, creating new particles and releasing more energy into the universe. They call this the Big Bang theory. As the universe cooled down, two types of stable particles were present: neutrons and protons. They form the central core or nuclei of what we now know as atoms. These nuclei, with their positively charged protons, attracted small, light, negatively charged particles called electrons, which moved rapidly around them. All things are in the image of God, so I heard somebody say. Atoms are many solar systems with their own motion system. All things are composed of atoms. They exist in different forms, shapes, orders, positions, qualities, and weights. An example of atoms at different states can be viewed in the transformation of an ice cube, solid, when increasing amounts of heat is applied. We see the solid ice cube, we'll call Earth, move from a solid to a liquid, water, to gas, air, and then to light, fire. What we call life and death are only changes in the arrangement and expression of atoms. The heavier atoms descend to Earth, while the lighter atoms ascend to the celestial regions, like fire atoms of the solar. Science has recently revealed that this initial expansion or ascension of the universe may be related to the presence of black holes in space. What is a black hole in space? And why are they called black? Anybody ever want to know? Black holes, a black hole is a body in space of highly condensed matter that neither light nor matter can escape from its gravitational pull. Within black holes, time and space, as we normally know it, comes to an end, stops. Okay. There are large and small or many black holes or black dots throughout space. Some black holes are the result of collapsing stars. Stars are born out of dense interstellar gas clouds or cosmic dust. Okay. As these stars lose their energies or burn out, they collapse into black holes, returning to the source material from which it is born and then reborn. Black holes in space continue to be a mystery to science. I should say to Western science, because the ancients knew what that was about. Why are black holes called black? Any object is black if it absorbs all light falling on it and emits none in return. An object appears invisible if it does not affect light at all, but allows light rays to pass through it undisturbed, as in a sheet of glass. In 1973, an astrophysicist named Stephen Hawking noted that based on the enormous gravitational field of black holes, the energy going into the production of particle emissions or radiation, that black holes would slowly erode over time. Eventually, when its gravitational field had become so dissipated and could no longer hold itself together, the whole would burst apart in a shower of high energy gamma rays. John Taylor, in his book Black Holes, noted that the universe, he also talked about having read ancient Greek philosophy and having read ancient Eastern philosophy, which is, and he was criticizing America's view of this big beginning. So I should take his name off of this. Black holes, he noted that the universe commenced, not began, but commenced its history as a highly compressed cosmic egg, which suddenly gave birth to an ever-expanding universe. He didn't say anything else about that. So I thought I would, interpret his experience. One must feel confident that all births occur naturally and/or when it is their time. The history of the universe dates back to infinity and will commence unto eternity. Knowing eggs personally as I do, I've had some for a long time, had a personal relationship with them. I realized that every life-supporting egg, cosmic or otherwise, must have a womb from which it is protected, nurtured, transformed, and eventually ascend from. I then submit to you that this highly compressed cosmic egg of the universe was protected, nurtured, and eventually ascended from a black cosmic wound in space, a black hole. When our cosmic egg matured and the Creator decided that it was time for our first time, then the black hole or womb gave birth to the universe and life as we know it. Delivery has always been dramatic. This heavenly phenomena has not gone unparalleled on earth. The reproduction process itself is a black hole phenomenon. That is, the life-giving substance is hurtled from and into a black hole or black nebula of the woman's womb to be protected, nurtured, transformed, and eventually ascend from the waters and womb of creation. As it is above, so it will be below. Heaven is within the womb of a woman. This holy black phenomena is so important, so crucial, that it is then monitored and regulated by another black hole. I call this the guardian black hole. That is, this precious womb of creation is guarded, monitored, controlled by the pituitary gland, the pineal gland, the black dot, or the seat of the soul. Osiris intercedes. There is a black dot and or melanin ever present in that which involves the cause of life, because life is synonymous with the receiving of the light. At the head of the male sperm, there is melanin. Within the woman's egg, there is melanin. If there is not enough melanin present within the first 12 hours of fertilization, the guardian black dot, the pineal gland, will order a spontaneous abortion of the life-granting process. Dr. King told me, so I know it's true. That is, the application for initiation into the house of life or light is rejected. Osiris intercedes. To summarize this section, I will say, in the process of expansion or ascension of the universe, atoms were blown apart, formed and reformed over the course of time. All stars and planets of the universe were formed, including our own particular star and planet. It is from the atoms present on the planet that living systems assemble themselves and evolved. Each atom in our body has its origin in this process. You and I are flesh and blood, but we are also stardust. We are the result of the maturation and birth of our universal cosmic egg and its black serpentine nebula womb. Biologically important elements. As previously mentioned, of the 92 naturally occurring elements, only 6 make up 99% of all living tissues. These 6 are carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphate, and sulfur. The number 6 is significant here. Based on the Kemetic science, the number 6 symbolizes or represents time and space versus no time, no space. The number 6 symbolizes time and space and something, and that something was life from these 6 essential elements. These elements were not the most abundant on Earth's surface. They are, however, abundant in space. In fact, it is the very stuff that stars are made of, literally. It takes millions of years to make a star. They are made from traces of hydrogen gas and minute dust particles of graphite or sand, which float around and between the present stars. In our galaxy, the gas and dust is concentrated in what is called spiral or serpentine-shaped arms, winding out from our galactic centers. Yes, there are serpents in the sky. Shock waves traveling around the galaxy, sparking off the condensation of interstellar material into larger clouds of matter. As condensation proceeds, the cloud begins to pick up heat. It then begins to glow. First of all, with radiation not visible to the human eye, but over time, a star is born. Initially, stars have high proportions of hydrogen, allowing them to build up helium, then carbon, then oxygen, nitrogen, and sulfur, gaining energy over the process. As you see, this is the same stuff that we are made of, that stars are made of. Based on Professor Hunter Adams' analysis of this process and these vital life star-generating elements, he concluded that the dust between the stars are important for the whole evolution of the universe and or organisms of living systems. The material of interstellar or cosmic dust clouds are said to emit and absorb radiation at the ultraviolet, visual, and infrared wavelengths. The type of radiation emitted and absorbed by the clouds are said to be of the black body type, as noted by Fred Hoyle, 1978 book Light Cloud. The black body type. If you have not noticed, there appears to be an ongoing theme here. Black bodies, black holes, black clouds or dust, and most importantly, black wounds of creation. Let's see what comes forth. Hoyle established that interstellar or cosmic dust in the form of hydrated particles house the basic complex organic chemicals needed for life. He also asserted that life on this planet was the result of these important dust particles impregnating the Earth. This impregnation of Mother Earth by these vital cosmic seeds occurred by way of Earth's long history of meteorites striking its surface and releasing its carbon-containing and prebiotic chemicals, which were embedded in the meteorites and comets as they pass through interstellar space. Also, volcanic eruptions punching holes in the atmosphere also allowed the black cosmic dust to drift down to Earth's surface, as it continues to do today. When this prebiotic material occurred in areas where there was water versus dry land. The dry dust particles became hydrated or filled with water and became part of the food chain and thus the genetic package. And the angels then asked God, "Is it soup yet?" The notion of dry dust particles having a primary role in the development of humans does not conflict with ancient theology.
That's right.
The ancient Kemetic creator god, Khnemu, Khnemu, was said to have fashioned man from clay. He was also called the potter god, who fashioned man on his potter's wheel from clay. A later Islamic version of the same story stated that God said to the angels, "I will make a man out of dry earth and black clay, and after I have made his form perfect, I will breathe my breath into him, and ye shall fall down and worship him." Based on the Judeo-Christian, another version of the same story states that the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Names change, but the story stays the same. This vital prebiotic substance in the form of black cosmic seeds or dust impregnating the waters and or womb of Mother Earth, and thus giving rise to life, can be viewed as the first of many immaculate conceptions. A research article published in the Journal of Molecular Evolution, 1975, and an earlier article published in 1965 revealed that the organizing properties of melanin, or what they call melanoidins, polymers, in the prebiotic soup or primordial soup may have played a major role in the structuring and or organizing of these vital elements necessary for the development of DNA, RNA, and proteins, and thus the genetic package, our genetic package. See, they said DNA did all this. Melanin organized DNA. Therefore, melanin embodied in the cosmic seed enabled us to rise up from the waters of none in the image of the Creator, baptized with the Holy Spirit, which had been infused in the cosmic substance of life, and Ra commanded Ma'a, representing order, truth, and cosmic consciousness, and Heka, representing material energy, to come forth from the waters of none. Oh, wait. And behold, the children of light came forth from the holy waters within the womb of its mother, Earth. The first S-U-N, Son of God, Creator, Atum, Ra, Re, was placed at the center of our universe for all the planets to evolve around. We call this our solar system. Webster defines solar as that which is produced by, sounds familiar, and dependent on the sun for existence or life. The sun provides us with life-giving light or energy. As noted previously, all living things must receive light to exist. Therefore, receiving of the light is synonymous with life itself. Here's another version of that. The primate of God's Ptah conceived in his heart everything that exists, and by his utterance, a word, created them all. He was the first to emerge from the primal waters of Nun in the form of a heel, closely following the heel, the S-U-N of God, Atum, also emerged from the water and set up on top, and from atop his creator he accomplished the works of creation. Another story, and God said, "Let there be light." And there was light, and he saw that the light was good. The sun was born. The S-U-N sun was born. The Creator created the light, or sun, so that we might live in both the physical and ultimately in the spiritual form. The seat of the soul is a black dot, a doorway to everlasting life, if we but receive or open up to God's light and be free. The gift of melanin flows throughout the universe and within our veins. It is the black body of the light within you. It is that which keeps us in connection with the Most High One, our divine ancestor, the Creator. The Honorable Dr. Ben, Dr. Dia, Dr. Hilliard, Dr. Jeffries, Clegg, Clark, etc., 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 have revealed to the world the rest of the story. The first humans that walked the earth were black and in Africa. They also noted that they went forth from this sacred place of their origins to people, educate, refine, and bring light to the rest of the world. The light and life of our ancestors are within you. You need only open your eye and receive the light. The black dot, or wound of life, will reveal the history of the universe and its creator. Amun, the hidden one, black dot. Thank you. We will entertain a couple of questions. Is there a mic on this side of the room? Check.
Dr. Stewart, I'd like to first say that I really enjoyed your presentation, and it really hit home for me because I'm a student at Seton Hall University in South Orange, New Jersey, and I'm doing a paper which is due this week on the black hole. Moment of Creation was the book that I was told to read to, get my information. what I would like for you to clarify for me and just state once again what you were saying, the universe egg protected and ascended from the black hole. Would you just, repeat that so I just want to make sure I have all the information clearly.
I'm supposed to recall it. Okay, I got to call on the universal cosmic egg matured
Yes.
and ascended from black hole in space. That one.
Okay, I'm trying to think. What did you say? Okay, then you went into a little more detail. I think I missed matured and ascended from the black hole and gave birth to the universe. I'm not sure that I understand. I just want to be sure. I'm not sure that I understand. Oh. I'm not going to plagiarize.
No, I'll talk to you about it afterwards.
Okay.
That's a long way back.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that when you talked about the creation and the black holes, that it made me think about a class I had taken about 6 years ago with Oba Tashaka at San Francisco State, and it was a class called Black Philosophy, and the book was Conversations with Okotonelli. And in that class, we had to really deal with all the symbolism and sit there and try to understand what it meant. And it was very difficult for the whole class, but at the end of it, we came out, and this is about Dogon religious beliefs, and we kind of came out with the thought that the universe was like the system of a body with all these different things, and that the body was like a mini universe. And it made me think about that and said, if they knew about Sirius B and all this other stuff, they must have known about melanin too in this book somewhere. So I have to go back and reread it to find out. I know it's something about melanin in there to talk about that. That's all.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Stewart. Okay. You ready for me? You ready for me? Can I go?